Hi, this is Catherine Rosa. I'm with Board Game Geek here at SPIEL 2016. I'm sitting here with Paul Grogan and Filip Neduk from Czech Games Edition, and they're here to talk about Adrenaline. So tell me about this game.
Well, I mean, the history of this game started a few years ago, I think, when you came around and pitched an idea of a first-person shooter game with no dice to CG, and we were like, that's a crazy idea. And 3 years later, here it is. So yeah, it's a first-person shooter style game, but with Euro-style mechanics. They said it couldn't be done, so we did it.
I'm intrigued.
That's basically it. Combat is deterministic. There is no dice. So when you shoot somebody, depending on the weapon that you're using, you do exactly what it says in on the weapon. So for example, plasma gun. There you go. Pop the plasma gun there. When you fire the plasma gun at somebody, it hits them and does 2 points of damage to them, which you can see by the top. There's also optional effects of the plasma gun. If you want to use the optional effects, you can. But that's what the weapon does every time you fire it. When you deal damage to somebody, for example, let's put the purple player board here. So let's say I'm shooting the purple player, and let's say I'm the green player, and I've shot them with the plasma gun.
And then I give that player my tokens, my damage tokens in my color.
So 2 points of damage has been dealt to that player by the green player. So what happens is, as the game goes on, different damage counters from different players will be put on that player's health bar, and when the health bar is filled, that player is killed, and then points are scored.
And whoever has done the damage will get points.
Whoever does the most damage scores 8, second most scores 6, third 4. There's a point extra for first blood, which is it's kind of area control scoring mechanics.
But the areas are moving around the board.
We joke in-house that it's an area control game, but the areas you're trying to control are the other players' health boards, and you control them by dealing damage to them. But in essence, that's the way that the scoring works. Now, one of the cool parts about the game, and I think one of the reasons why CG decided to pick this up, is, in games where you take damage, you might get weaker as the game goes on. Not in this game.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
You actually get stronger the more damage you take. You unlock certain the actions you have get better.
So it'll be easier for you to do damage to other people.
Yeah, because the game's called Adrenaline. So exactly,
as you get damage, your adrenaline's building up, and you're becoming a little more and more.
Yeah, and over the 3 years, this game has evolved so much and completely changed, but the fundamental mechanic of, as you take damage, you get better. That's still there. That's the cool thing about the game
from the start. Yeah,
from the start, and lots of other stuff has changed.
I noticed there's a modular piece here that looks like it can be changed out.
It is. So in the last round of the game, there's something called Final Frenzy, and you flip over that board, and everything goes crazy, and certain people get special actions and stuff like that. Cool. One of the cool mechanics, there's lots of cool stuff. When I'm demoing this game, I love it because I explain the rules as I'm going, and people go, "Oh, that's cool," and then 10 minutes later I explain another rule, and oh, that's cool. So when you kill somebody, what happens is the person who did this last point of damage, that counter goes on this kill shot track, okay? This skull goes over the 8. Now that's done 2 things. First thing is, if this person is killed again later in the game, they're now worth fewer points. So that mechanic was in there from the start as well.
So it kind of balances out so that one person doesn't keep getting killed all the time.
You wanted this in there to stop one player being picked up.
Because people want to go after other characters because they want the most points.
So
you have to spread your damage around.
You spread your damage. So when you're thinking about the game, you don't just go, I'm going to go and shoot him. You actually think, right, well, I've got this weapon. I could move there and I could do 2 damage to him, but actually he's worth fewer points. So actually, you make those decisions in the game. So it's a thinking game.
It's actually, it's more of a Euro in a sense.
Yeah. The other thing is this kill shot track, that's worth points at the end of the game, whoever did the most kill shots.
Whoever has most there will get points.
Overkill is even cooler, because if you get overkill by doing the 12th point of damage, what happens is that goes on there, so you've got 2 markers on there, which will increase your chance of getting a high score at the end of the game, but also the revenge marker. The person who you overkilled gets a revenge marker on you. Okay, and what that means is the next time they shoot you, they'll deal an extra point of damage.
So you kind of have to hunt him down, the person who killed you.
Just to get some payback.
So
and you're respawning as the game is going.
As soon as you die, you respawn straight away. You carry on fighting.
And I just have to say, these figures are
came
gorgeous.
Out well.
They're really, really nice.
It's our first game with miniatures, so we were very nervous about it. There's all pitfalls that you can get into. But they've come out really nicely. Now, what we've just described is the deathmatch version of the game. The game actually comes with 3 modes of play. So that was the first one. Do you want to explain the second one?
Sure. Okay, so the second one, this board is double-sided, and it goes here instead of these.
All right.
And you put the skulls here. There's place. So in the domination mode, you actually you shoot each other as per usual, but you also control the spawn points.
So that's why there are different colors
So
on the
they're
team.
kind of like fictive players. You can shoot them. Also, if you end your turn alone in the space, you get your tokens here. And at the end of the game, you also...
Whereas if someone else is in there with you, then you're not gonna
then
get
you're not
points.
going to get it. Yeah, so you have to be alone or shoot at it with weapons, but you can only deal one damage to the point.
So it changes the dynamics of the way that the game's
Yeah,
played.
it gives you an extra layer of scoring.
And then the other side of the board is the turret mode, which is a third way you can play the game, where instead of these ammo tiles being on the board, you take them all off and you put them on there. And now what happens is whenever you end your turn on a turret space, you can either take one of the ammo tiles that's on offer, or you can commandeer the turret. You put your marker on it. That means that's your turret. Does two things. It's worth points at the end of the game, but also if anybody else enters that space, the turret shoots them and deals them damage. So again, it's just another little
Just adding a
change
little bit of
to the
level.
game.
So you basically 3 modes of the game, giving you 3 slightly different versions of the same game.
Yeah.
Lots of replayability.
Yeah.
And up to 4 players, it looks like.
5.
Up to 5
Yeah,
players.
we got this guy Dozer. He
look
comes
at
in.
that.
The board is actually a sort of modular board. Each of these, the board's split into 2. Each of these you flip over. So this is the preferred 4-player setup. If you're playing with 3 players, you flip over this board, and this is slightly smaller. If you're playing with 5, you flip over this board, and this is slightly bigger. But you can play any combination of players with any size board if you want to. It's just that's the recommended one.
Great.
So
How long does the game typically take to play?
it's normally about an hour, isn't it? I mean,
Does it vary depending on how many players you are?
yeah.
So the number of players will affect the time.
Yeah, but not much. I don't think, because the game ends when a certain number of deaths have happened. So yeah.
So 3 to 5 players, about an hour.
3 to 5, about an hour. 3 modes of play. Seems to hit the sweet spot of people who like going around and shooting each other.
They're giving that action.
Yeah, but the way that the ammo works, and we haven't explained ammo and weapons, but it's effectively it's a resource management thing. You've got to go to reload your weapons. You need to pick up the ammo.
So it's a Euro with
a Euro.
a bit of an adrenaline kick.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's adrenaline from
There you go.
Check Games Edition.